All right. Actually, first and foremost, just in case you guys are finding something not functioning that's AI related, if you're finding something that's not functioning that's not AI related, that's my bad. Feel free to beat me up. But if you're finding something that's not AI related, I don't mean physically, but then here's a button that will take you to the status page. Oh, look at that. And you will see whether OpenAI that I'm using for now may not be forever, but for now, that's what I have. Probably won't be forever. The more red I see, the less I'm inclined to use that. But since everything has been set up with them, it will take me a while to port that. But at least I probably would like to offer options to people that like, would you like to use Claude or OpenAI? Um, I have a lot of thoughts about this. We'll figure out what works best for all of us. Let's put it this way. I'm not married to OpenAI. I don't really care what it is that we're using as long as it works. This is not my preference. Seeing red is not a good thing. But again, check this. If it's down, it's because of their issues, most likely, because we don't seem to have issues. But if we do, it will be here as well. Okay. Second, this is your connection to a file that's open on your server, or in my case, not anymore, but it was connected. But code was the first one that you guys wanted to look at, and that's a big bite of this thing. So let's get into it. Code basically is something like a VS Code type code editor in a browser for all your FileMaker related endeavors. The reason I'm saying related is because these are the language type snippets that you can bring in, edit, muck around with in here. Obviously, we have FileMakers as bread and butter, but as time went on from the old days, I'm assuming that all of us pretty much had to learn other languages to be able to do the FileMaker work. I would say raise your hand if you don't touch any of these, and I'm pretty sure that you won't, and I can't even see you, but I'm pretty sure that you're using, a lot of these things, right? Feel free to chime in or not.
Yes. I think
Okay.
we definitely talk
Yes.
about a number of these items
Okay.
in the group.
So I
Yeah.
thought that,
Use all these
since
things.
they work together, let's make them here work together. Now,
Mhm.
what's important is that they all don't all of them work the same way. They all don't work the same way. Sorry, English is not my first language, as you probably all know. So I stumble a little bit, but I built
All
this
good.
table that helps you see what works and what doesn't work here. And this is not my limitation. This is the language's limitation. So for example, we cannot do, well, sorry, I can't point and whatever at the same time. So I'm going to leave it open and just kind of read through it. That like JSON, for example, cannot do autocomplete. It's not FM Dojo's limitation, it's JSON's limitation or JSON's featuring or functioning. Same with Python, same with YAML, same with XML. Okay. I added YAML because, a lot of us manage servers and YAML is very useful for, web development and servers. And it's just a cool language to have. Um, and I added validation for where I could, and I added formatting for the languages that I could. So you can always come back here if something is not working, like why is it not working? Check it out, and then it will tell you. Okay. When you create a new snippet, it's going to ask you what it is that you would like to create. I used to have more because this used to be separate, and then I realized there's absolutely no point in separating this because you're not going to be creating most of the time in the FileMaker world. You're not going to be creating a JS by itself, and even if you are, you can just still do it here anyway. The rest of them are, all kind of separate. You give it a name, you create whatever you want, and then you save it. I'm not going to do that because I already have a ton of them in here that we can pick and play with. So you can look at whatever's open, which is a polls in Hungarian, blah, blah, whatever, which is product edition. It's a script that I copied out from somebody's database. As you can see, It nicely captures every line, but it's text, so you can go and muck around in it. I love using that term muck around because that's kind of what you do when you just make accidental changes and then you just say, all right, what about this thing now? What do I do with this? Is that correct? Is that not correct? And it's like, oh, let's go and ask the chat and say, can you look at line 2? Now, just so you know, I've not done this before. I like to do this in demos. Even if I burn myself, I don't want to do things that are baked in. I am not practicing any of this. I don't have time for that. I generally code 15-hour days or
Mhm.
troubleshoot. So I just do whatever I feel like doing, and if it fails, it fails. I'm not, I don't have shame. Sorry. To and tell me what's wrong. And let's hope that the AI gods will actually work as well. While that's doing it, well, there you go. No, that was pretty quick. Okay. Line 2 is missing the closing square bracket. Currently have this, and it should be this. Okay. Um, Let me see if I insert it. That didn't work because it killed the entire thing, and I think I told it before not to do that. But the good news is that we have unlimited undos.
Mm.
But every time I demo and I see something wrong, I usually take note of it. Um, are we recording this, by the way?
Yes.
Okay, so if I could get that recording, that would be awesome because then I could transcribe it and take all of my fix this
Yep.
lines from it so I can fix everything that I see is wrong. Thank you.
We'll also post it on YouTube. Get rid of the beginning part with the bombers and then post it on YouTube as well.
Perfect. Thank you. So everybody can see all the mistakes. Excellent. Okay. I really have no shame. It's a live product. It is constantly changing, I would say, on a daily basis. So it is what it is. We're all modifying it together. Pretty much everybody that I talk to, makes recommendations. So I call it kind of like a community product. And I love it. Most of the screen has these, built-in sliders. So you want to see more of this part panel, you can do that. I try to make it as user-friendly as I can, partially because I've done a lot of web development myself, and I really like the web editors versus a lot of times the FileMaker editors. I've I don't want to toot my horn because that's not really all about that, but I have asked people in the community to add things, and I asked Clarice to add things because things bothered me. So the fact that we actually have line numbering in FileMaker partially is because I bugged them enough. The fact the fact that, we had highlighting for if and end in the Monkey Bread software was because I have bugged Christian. I bugged a lot of people about things that I'd like to see in the real world, but I do that with other software too. So from 1Password to a lot of other companies, I reach out and say like, could you please make this happen? And if they're nice people, they usually do. So I want the same thing from you guys. You don't even have to say, could you please? You just say, like, this is broken, please fix it. Or even without the please. Or say, can you do this? Can you do that? I'm totally open. Talk to me, ask things. So, FileMaker script. Let's go back to what can you do? Let's say you want to add more things to it. You can just start typing set, and then all your lines that you start with set can come up and say, I can just say, I want that, or I don't want that, I want something else. You don't even have to do what I just did because you can delete obvious the whole line together. You can start typing with an F, find matching records, fine tune models, blah, blah, blah. What else do we have in here? That was a bad letter. Let's say D. Delete account, delete portal row. And then, as you can see, you have this nice part in here, and you can just say on or off. I try to do my best programming these in, especially with the help of my friend Kevin Frank. Thank you, Kevin Frank. And Honza. Thank you, Honza. And everybody else who helped, and every future person who will help.
Mm.
What should be the default here? Because, some of them said off, and somebody said, you know what, it would be best if it actually were on. So a lot of work went into what we think should be here, but it's actually super easy to change all of these because you just type it over and you're done, right? Um, next. So everything is, type ahead. Everything pretty much can be checked, validated. And then if you, I cannot remember if you guys asked for, oops, I can't even get there. So just tell me, if you asked for it or not. But in the integration part, we have these snapshots. I think you did. If you have a snapshot brought in, or if you have a live connect, which is the next level snapshot where you connect to a database that's live on a server, because now we have server connection to not just a local database that's open on your computer. The plugin can differentiate between that, the server hosted file versus the local file. Then you can do this kind of stuff. You have, let's say, somewhere I saw orders, order ID. You can select that and you can right click and it will find your connected database. And you can just say, I want this one instead. Isn't that cool?
Would you be able to show us how with the plugin you connect it to a
Of
local
course I can.
database and a
Of
server?
course I can. I will. Yes.
That'd be great.
Yep. Undo. I don't want to, mess this up. Not that it really matters, but yeah. But so that's kind of, where we are with this thing, that it works pretty well. There's just so much in here. Let me show you a couple more things and then, we'll get there as well. Um, okay, so this is FileMaker. FileMaker, I don't really need to, get into too much, I guess, and explain. I don't want to get into XML. I don't even like XML. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. That's just, oh yeah, something that I was playing with. I just added a value at not long ago. This is basically a data viewer built in. So you guys can go and play with things in here. You don't have to even go back to FileMaker. Doesn't have all the functions yet. I'm just kind of like working along this when I have the time, adding things little by little. But basically, you can dump in an entire, whatever JSON block or whatever you want. Here's your calculation. There's your data, evaluate it. Then you can even chat about it. There's pretty much chat everywhere. So something's not working, go ask chat. It will tell you what's going on. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, this is one of my favorites. Although there are a lot of things that I would probably will call out as a favorite. So don't hit me for it. But a lot of things that are pretty cool, I think personally. If anyone ever played with JS Fiddle, this basically is your JS Fiddle. So you can kind of fiddle with JavaScript examples in here, but I also built a little template playground for you as well. So you can pick whatever you want. You want to build, map, it will just replace all this thing. It's automatic for you. And you can just say, I want to run that. And then here's your little map. Boom, done. Proper JavaScript, navigable. You can just basically copy this as a file and dump it into a FileMaker database. I don't have one open, or I could get open. I can just do that. But while that opens up, I'm going to close this up a little and then show you that this is your FileMaker data right here. And this is what you're going to be replacing with your variable, I would say global variable or field data in FileMaker. So you have it already picked that this is your FileMaker data. It knows once you put it in there that this is where your data comes from. So this is just a couple of labels that we already have, for this particular, map, right? San Francisco, Oakland, blah, blah, blah. But if I go to FileMaker and I open whichever spider, and I go and replace whatever I had here and say, I don't want this, I want that. And as you can see, it's prepped. Everything that I do here is prepped for, FileMaker. So you guys don't have to really do much. Here's your map. Boom, done. Again, all you have to do is just replace the FileMaker data. I can't hear the clapping. How cool is this? Nope, not cool. Not cool at all. You don't have to use
Extremely
it.
cool.
You don't
We
have
have a
to
lot of
Very
mutes.
cool.
Same with line charts, but I also tried to give you guys pretty ones because who the hell wants to use, oh, excuse my language. I don't mean to offend anybody since it's going to be posted online, but I wanted to give people pretty charts, okay? And ones that you can even like hover over and see more information about. So there's your line chart. Here's a pie chart. Um, here's a nice calendar. Here's again the chart. And what's also cool, in my humble opinion, is that I also added a little color block in here. So you're not a fan of purple, but you're a fan of, blue. You can just say, I am gonna find where that purple lives. Actually, it's not that simple, I think, in this one. Bum, 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 bum. Can anyone see a purple? Do I see where the purple is in here? I have no idea. Maybe this is not a good example for this particular thing, or maybe I'm just getting blind. Let's find another one. Progress bars. Does this have any coloring in here that I can easily find?
Yeah, right there, color.
There. Okay, let's check this out. Progress bars, but that's just one color. That's the body color. Background and the color, not the right one. But you can, play with these and figure out, a lot more of that. Okay, here you go. There you go. So this is a simple, purple one, right? So let's say that you don't like this purple, and you find a purple in this one. Let me see where the purple in this one is. There it is. But I think this should be that one. And then you just highlight that, and you pick a color from here, and then make sure you don't have two pound signs. I should have highlighted the pound as well. And then you run that, it will replace a color. That's how simple that is.
Nice.
Okay. Um, and this is all, replaceable. So you can do whatever you want with these. And some of them are even cooler. And I tried to add as many as I could, even some D3 bar charts. I added some um more stuff lately that I can't find right now. Wait a minute. Am I blind? You know what? Maybe it's on the upstairs computer, hasn't been pushed out. It's very possible. I unfortunately I work on three different computers. I'm sitting on the couch downstairs right now, so I have a MacBook Pro, and then I have a Mac 2 Ultra that I work on upstairs, partially because I have to test things on two different operating systems for the Mac plugin. And then I have a virtual Windows for the Windows plugin that I have to work with and test things on. So
Hmm.
now I have, I pushed to GitHub from three different sources. So I think this has not been pushed out apparently, but there are a few more, maybe like five, six more templates here that are, I guess, coming. And those are really cool as well. If I believe org charts and similar to FileMaker's ERD. But some of these charts are really, really cool. And I think all of them are pretty. So they should, fit better with modern interfaces. Okay, so that's that. Now, if we look at any regular code that is just like this, you have these buttons here. So you can always invoke, not that one, you can always invoke this part, right? That's your JS fiddle. That's this TV button. Not sure it's the best one. I couldn't think of anything better. That's the one that makes it bigger. This will probably better show it on a FileMaker script. This button will divide it horizontally. So you can see the beginning of a script and the end of the script, and it automatically goes there. So if you have a really, really long script, you don't have to scroll up and down. This will allow you to compare two versions of a script. So, for example, I have another one here. One is two, one is one. And right away, it will show you that um,
The
this
difference.
is different. See that?
Wow.
Okay. I always wanted diffing. I absolutely love this. Simple and easy. And some of the things that I developed here are the things that I was begging last year Claris to build in and worked for them. And engineering wanted to, and product management had other ideas, and I don't blame them, but I wanted to give it to you guys and possibly to myself as well. So now we have them. Um, what else do I have in here that is very cool? Let me think. I won't say they are created, they're locked in. If you want to change them, you got to click on the lock button. So then it's going to ask you so you don't accidentally screw something up. Oh yeah, one more really cool thing is that you can add them to folders. You can mark a clip type. So I basically built in a clip manager as well. We have a lot of different clip managers. And one thing that I think they all have in common is that you can't really work together with them. You can't really share the clips. And everything that I have in FM Dojo is shareable. So any code that you have here is shareable. You can take a clip and you can generate that shared app, and you can go and paste that into anyone's chat. You can email it, you can do whatever you want with it. Just to demo it, I'm going to open up a different browser and paste it in here, and it's going to load that app for you. I probably should have this wrap, again, something else. And then you have this little explanation on what that is, blah, blah, blah. And you can even have a copy button here, try FM Dojo. However, if you have an FM Dojo account, you can right away save this to your library or open it in your editor. Okay. This is not the only thing that you can share. There are other things you can share from the chat. You can share diagrams, all kinds of things. Now, if, as you can see that, there's a scripts folder here, and I have 3 scripts in it, and the rest of them are on file because I just don't have the time and the energy to deal with that. However, um, all kinds of, things you can do with them. You can move them to a different folder. Obviously you can delete it. You can, put it to take it out, rename, duplicate, delete, whatever. You can share the entire folder from here. Okay. So you can give that to somebody else, and then they can take your entire folder of scripts. Now, this could be useful for a client, for consultants like us. You can put a set of scripts, a set of custom functions for a client, and then you can just give them to a new developer. Um, the playing field is yours. You use it however you want to use it. You want to use it just for yourself, that's fine. You want to create demos, you know what I'm saying? Like, start thinking how you want to use them. But now you can collect and sort and search, and everything pretty much is searchable. Wherever you are, you have this search, so you can just start typing and you will find whatever you need pretty fast. Now, talking about search, as of yesterday, we have a global search. And in here, you can search pretty much through any feature, not necessarily the data in it, but the features of the site. And I did this because several people basically left because they said, I don't know how to use this thing. And I thought that I did a good job. And, maybe clearly I did not, on like giving people enough explanations on what this is and how to use it. So we have a doc section that has a getting started page. It has a for beginners that, like, if you are new to FileMaker, how to start. It's pretty extensive. We have a user guide that has every feature that we have in here. It will tell you which one works on mobile as well. It will tell you which ones are new features. It's all searchable as well. Most of them have videos now in here too. And then I have a change log. And still, people said they don't know how to use it. So I said, okay, I don't know what else to do. So I built a search where you can say, I want to work with XML. So you type XML, and then it will just give you this nice global search that like code features, other features, design, whatever. Okay. I hope this helps. Um, Anything else anyone asks, I mean, anyone needs, just, let me know. But I would recommend that you use the search you're liking. Let me know how that works. Okay, what else do we have in here that I did not mention? Obviously, we have these sidebars. You can get rid of things. Yeah, one of the things that bother me in life in general when you can't get rid of things that you don't want. And so I'm thinking that maybe I should just get rid of this part as well because it's just too many buttons. And if it's starting to bother me, it might bother other people too. Even for the editor, we have themes. So if you want a dark theme everywhere, but you want light just for the editor, Lord knows why you would do that, but you can do that still. Um, what else? Oh yeah, no, next you can get this XML and you can paste it into FileMaker. Um, Now we have our own plugin, so you don't really need the base elements. I'm going to probably remove that very soon. I just wanted to make sure that everybody's comfortable with the FM Dojo plugins. Um, as of, I think, yesterday, these both should work pretty perfectly well. Both Mac OSs that have been problematic, aka, well, mostly Tahoe was problematic because I think Apple sort of broke the clipboard. Apple probably would say they revamped the clipboard. I don't know really what the official statement on that is, but what worked beautifully until this OS that I'm on, Sequoia, doesn't work on Tahoe. So we had to completely, do things from the ground up, but it works now. And what's really cool is that, obviously you can copy this as text, right? You can always highlight parts of this, copy this, do whatever you like with it, right? It's text. But FileMaker doesn't do text. So you go and say, I want to get the XML of this thing. And now it copied it. Oh, sorry, that's backwards. I did that, this button, sorry. Confused. So now we're sending it somewhere. So I can go here and say, I want to paste this into a new script. So I'm going to create a new script and oops. Oh, huh. I got a problem now. Alrighty. Found the bug. Please cut this out. Thank you. I probably have to install a new plugin because I was working in the other machine. Anyway, in theory, that's how that works. You just copy and paste. Let me see if I'm just gonna download this quickly and update this if that's the problem. Demos, every demo has something going wrong. It's just how it goes. But yesterday it worked. And I know that two people demoed this to their departments and they didn't complain about anything not working. So I'm assuming that it works for them. But generally, that's how it works, that you click this button and then you go to FileMaker and then you paste it in and it pastes. Apologies. What are you gonna do? Demo. Okay. I think I talked enough about this part here. I don't think I'm missing anything. All right, so let's go to snapshots. So snapshots are basically a point in time picture of a structure of a database or an app, as they call it. So I have two of them here. You have this list on the left. I have the NBOps, and then I have a spider. The difference is that this is not active and it's not live. And I'll tell you exactly what that means in a second. But this one can be made active if I want to. And then other features will work with that. But for now, this one is the active one. So when I right click in chat, this is the one that is getting data from. But if I select this one, then it should be getting it from here. So Live Connect, okay, so snapshot works like this. You create a new snapshot, and then it's going to ask you to drop one or more XML files in here, or you click on it and then you just navigate to your XML file. So let me see if I have one still that I can bring in. I should have, unless I hmm, deleted it yesterday. I may have. Let me see. Yes, I did. Okay, sorry about that. Anyway, if you bring one in, it basically parses it out and then you get a line like this. So imagine that I just did that and then it will open it. And then this is what you see. Let me get rid of this again. Okay, so you will see a tab on the top, and then you will see a list on the left, right? So these are your tables. In this case, I have this many tables, 72, 20, 35 layouts, 33 scripts, yada, yada. If you click on one of them, they will tell you, what's in them. There's an ID, and it will tell you this is, auto enter calculated, and it will tell you what's in it. It's color coded, type, yada, yada. Auto table, another table, another table, another table. Layouts, I think layouts are the least exciting in this case because they're not very visual. I'll think about how to make that an option at some point, but not yet. Scripts, if they have something exciting in them, then you will see the script. But as you can see, none of this is editable here. This is just a view only because snapshots are view only because you took them from that XML, you imported them in here, and then you can view them. You can save them for later. You can search them because we have this sort of like global search for that or one or more snapshots. And you can even ask questions in the chat, but you can't really do much more than that with them. So it's a read only file basically, right? But you can push them to GitHub. So if you have GitHub set up, which I do, I'm just not going to push this right now, but you can push them to GitHub. You can bring in another version, and then you will see if I have a second one, the difference between the two of them, it will be highlighted. So you can do diffing between, you can do versioning now as well between the different files. This is, V1, you'd have a V2, and you can easily see the differences. You can see that in GitHub as well. For now, that's in JSON. It may not stay in JSON. I'm looking for user feedback, and then we'll, I guess, collectively decide how that should work. I guess, once I have enough, I don't have that yet. I don't think I'm going to show you more of this because it's similar to this one, but this is even better. So this is the kind of sort of live version of the same thing. I keep thinking like, how can I make this better? How can I make that better? And there's always a way to make things better, right? So this is like the next phase of that. Now you have an add button. Now you have an agent mode and all kinds of other cool stuff. You still have the, GitHub obviously right here. But now you have agent here and you can add the new table. So I could just add the new table and stage that change. So I could, let's say I want a new table called files. Do we have files or just file? And say stage change. Why did it not ask me?
It looks like you're adding a script rather than a table.
Oh, thank you. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Old age, new glasses. Phew. Okay, that's better because I was like, it's not asking me for starter fields. Thank you so much. So it should ask you for starter fields. And if you want a matching, table occurrence. And so let's do this file, state changes, much better. There you go. So you can see that it added, I don't know how big this is for you guys, but you can see that it added staged a table, but you can actually remove this if you don't want it. Table occurrence, and these are your basic fields. Okay. You don't like them, boom, take them out. You can add more, whatever. Now, If you're done with the whole change for today, you can push them to your database, and it will use the methodologies that Clarice gave us to add them to your live FileMaker file, the one that you basically dedicated for this. That's done somewhere else, but I'll get to that in a minute. So basically, we have the update tool. There are a lot of things that are happening in the background here, and I try to make it as simple and easy for people to use. Sorry, doggy. But there are certain things that you have to set up to be able to do this easily, right? So to be able to get to the point of doing this, first, you have to set up a server. So you can connect to it, you can see the files from it, yada, yada. So this is my server management area where I have, I think, 5 servers, if I'm counting right. You can designate them as production, test, and dev. That's for migration. I can talk to you guys about later if you're interested. You can manage your servers. You can do all kinds of really cool things with them, things that you cannot do elsewhere from what I've seen or heard. Some of them are, you can have a 1-button restore from backup. I have one version rolled out, but I'm working on a V2 that's going to be even better when it's going to close the file, move it aside, copy the backup, merge the records, reopen, and even a rollback on any failure. Have not been fully tested, therefore it's not rolled out yet, but it's coming. And as you can see, you have a backups area where all you see is just the files. I never loved the click on this folder, click on that folder, click inside that folder, click inside that folder, click inside that folder to be able to get to your backup on the server. So here is just a list of the actual FileMaker files listed by the dates. Clapping? No clapping? Again? Okay, never mind. I think this is pretty cool. Come on. You can get to your, and I also want to add offsite backups eventually too, since I have now GCP, the Google Cloud, AWS, and all kinds of other Azure and other services added in here. So you can actually mark which service your server is on, and the command lines are installed. So you can actually do all kinds of cool stuff as well. And you don't have to like do manual SSH stuff. But if you want to do manual SSH stuff, you can do that too. And even not manually, because I have commands in here, all kinds of really cool stuff. I know how to use SSH. I had to learn Linux kind of early on because my Mac servers kept on crashing back in New York. And I started looking around and, what can I do to fix this problem? And somebody said Linux. And I was like, what's that? So I had to go and buy a Linux server. I had to figure out how to set it up and how to use it. And it was a bit of a nightmare back in like 2005, but I had to learn it. And I know still there are a lot of FileMaker developers who don't know, and that's okay, especially for beginners. So I put together all the FileMaker, server admin commands in here in a way that people can find them easily and just do whatever they need to do without having to learn everything. So you want to list things? Here's a list thing, and you can even learn about it. You can kind of learn things from using FM Dojo. You click that, it will jump in here. It already has the FMS admin because, it's all the same. And you want to list your clients, you can list your clients. You want to list your files, you can list your files. Click list files, and you run it right here. And you wait a few seconds, and boom, files are listed. Again, where's the clapping? Never mind. You can search this. Again, you can learn from it. But if you want to use shell commands, you can do that too. I'm going to add that to your thing at some point. You can use bash commands. So you can, do all kinds of damage to your server if you want to. And you can also use the Windows, what is it called? Somebody help me out.
Like the PowerShell?
PowerShell, exactly. PowerShell commands as well. Because I know a lot of the people, it's a mixed bag of things. I know Clarice says that we don't have Windows users, but I know that we have Windows users. So we have WinRM as well. You can set that up right here. You can set up SSH right here. And I try to make that pretty easy too, so you can generate that SSH key and just dump it into your server. Here's where you can choose your cloud account that's set up somewhere else. Instructions, everything is pretty much baked in here, so you guys don't have to do a lot of work. Okay. Integrations. So what I mean, a lot of cool things here. I don't even know where to start and where to end, but logs, all the logs that you can ever need, FileMaker logs, server logs, all together. So if you want to ask a question from a database perspective, that like there's a file that's constantly crashing and you don't know why, and a FileMaker log is not going to tell you, then you can pick a time frame and you can pick that one file and just look at that one file from like all the logs perspective, and then it will probably tell you. But you can also ask and analyze, just let's say it's on, web publishing, and say, like, I want to debug this and I want to look at journal, whatever, CTL as well at the same time. I'm just clicking on things randomly right now. It might not give something useful, but it will tell you which log that is, right? On the left. And say, I want the last 100 lines, and you could just, filter it for one particular user, whatever you like, it's all up to you. But you can also analyze it and just ask for errors only, full analysis, and ask a question about blah, blah, blah. But if you want to do it from a manager's perspective, you can do that too. Or like, let's say manager comes to you, and there will be more features. I'm also working on a lot of that management analysis. You can ask, let's say you have a user who you think is lying that they work a lot, or they were in Sunday and worked all day. You could just come in here and be like, did blah blah log in on Sunday, and you get the answer. What else? Oh yeah, the famous SSL stuff. And here's your let's encrypt, and it restarts your server. Just saying. Added some extra fun stuff in here too. Okay, there's your credentials. This is where you can mark whether you're in a production or test or development server. You can use the certificate PKI as well. You can generate stuff, so you don't have to do a lot of manual labor. And there's always a lot of like, here's how you do this, here's how you do that. Okay, so this is how you set up the servers. This is how you do the databases. I hate double entry. I hate double work. I just kind of wanted to bring things into one place as much as possible. So last week I did this because I realized that there are like 4 or 5 places where you have to put in a new database, a new database, a new database. So now we have database authorizations because you're going to work with different databases in different places. So might as well just put them in one place. So there's this one, there's this one, there's this one, and it will tell you where it's authorized in. And you can update your credentials if you need to. You can test them, and you can revoke them in all places at once. How cool is that one? And then these are used in places that you need them, and you don't have to put them in other places. Just pick this one, pick that server, pick this file. You're good to go. All right. Connections. AI data access, that's not really for developers, but it's really cool for clients that they can just go and talk to Claude on their cell phone and ask questions about that data. GitHub, GitLab, Figma, not going to explain these. Go play with them. Obviously, you got to put in a link. This is for, pushing your XML changes, do your versioning changes, whatnots. I still have Auto FMS, although I'm pretty sure at this point we have everything that Auto FMS does. So you don't really need to install an extra thing on your server anymore because everything is in here. This is where your cloud providers are, if you need any of them. I thought that Auto FMS has their the API, but they don't. I probably will ask them to write one if they would like to, so we can actually add that in here too, because I know a lot of people are there. Next is flows. We have, I think, 96 now. Flows is basically a Claris Connect replacement. I know a lot of people complained last year and probably still about Claris Connect. So I wanted to make this as simple and easy as I could. Searchable, categorized. So if somebody wants to scroll, you can scroll all the way till Texas. I tried to give you guys as logical starter pack as I could. If you're missing something, let me know. I've already added a few things that other people were missing that I did not think that anybody would need. But hey, somebody asked for Synology chat and it's working. Every one of them has a what you can do with it. As you can see, these have been, hooked up for me. And as you can see, it will tell you where they are used. Synology chat can send message. Twilio can send SMS, send WhatsApp message, make voice call. WhatsApp can send message, send media message. I think that's probably why we have a separate one for that. And another cool thing about these, aside from them being here and them being two-way street with FileMaker and being able to stitch together is, and then there's more coming with all this stuff as well, is that you can use them kind of in other places as well. So for example, I have the FM deploy, which is used from the Live Connect when you want to push the staged changes that you saw earlier. In here, if you look at the settings, after it's done, you can have a run complete notification. So I picked my Discord. These are the things that I have set up. And when you set these up, you can actually even pick that, like, in some cases, do I want to get a notification when something fails or succeeds or on anything, right? You have these integrated with server alerts, which I did not talk about, but I'm jumping around a little bit. I told you guys I told Justin there's just way too much here to kind of get through, but we have all kinds of alerts. I'm not going to click through these, just go and check them out. And at the end, you have these notifications. I baked these in initially because those were free. And then once I added flows, you can pick basically any flow that you have configured. If you haven't configured one yet, you go create one. And then, you can even have a little bit of a cooldown so you don't overwhelm things. You can send a test, yada, yada. And even like, OS kind of level watchdog alerts. Okay, snapshots, not snapshots. Snapshots, yes. So how does this work? Live Connect, you click that, and we assume that the plugin is already installed. Plugin is just like any other plugin. You drop it into your extensions folder, right? It's gonna find your open file. Now, this is not perfect yet because, as I can see, it's lying, unless it's not lying. Actually, you know what? Never mind. It's not lying because I should have that open, or it found it. No, let me see. Window. No, it's not. Oh, maybe it is lying. Oops. It definitely works with both of them now. So if this were the local version, which it is not, it is the server hosted version, it would still find it and you can still connect to it. Now, if you don't select the file, it would connect to all of them. And in this case, it would say like, I can't find fly. And I'm like, well, because it's not there. If you don't have the script installed yet for this connection, then you copy the script from here and you put it in your file. That script has to be named FMDojo live push, exactly the way it is in this particular dialog. Okay, right here, sorry, this one. And it tells you in here as well. And I would not recommend touching this script. Again, it's the same methodology, just like with any other plugin or anything that you install from somebody else. You grab this. It's one thing in this case. It will, because the plugin runs this. So I would just say, please paste it in here, name it, and let it go. If there's an update, if this script changes, this dialog will let you know, grab a new copy, paste it in, you're good to go. This is for me. That's for the desktop application that I'm developing because Germany or German developers ask for a desktop application. You guys will have access to it as well in case you want it. But it's not done yet. It's done-ish, but getting there. And you can download the plugins from here or 2, 3, 4 different places on the website. Now, I'm going to select the spider and I'm going to connect the spider. Most places that have a function that does something like this will have that green line by line logging. So you can see what's happening. If there's an error, it's going to be red. It's going to be in English. It's going to tell you what's going on. So you can give it to me if there's a problem. Send it to the website. Send it, for now, GitHub is what we're using for, reporting bugs. Let me know if there's a problem. I'll jump on it and get it sorted. So this is what is going to happen afterwards. But, my case, this was already done. I could actually, if you want, remove it and redo it, or just take my word for it that this is how it works. And I can clear this, but it will have this connection that's now live. Again, you can add a new table. You can add a new script, and you can edit your scripts as well now too. So this is the view. That's very simple. But if you edit it, it becomes your proper editor. And when it's your proper editor, typohead works in here too. So you can, work with whatever, you're working with. And I am hoping that this will work too. And it did not. Okay, one more thing to fix because that should grab it from that. Although this was just done, again, 2 days ago, but it should actually grab the data from the connected database. So I'll fix this today. So next time, by the time somebody's going to actually probably play with this, it's going to work. Just like from the code. You click on it and it's going to give you the option to choose from your connected database. And then you can just stage this corrected, modified script and you're good to go. But I'm going to cancel it. Value lists. Did you guys want to know about the diagram? Justin?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Diagram is basically the ERD editor. Everything is the same kind of concept. List, edit, searchable list on the left. You can hide it. And then your editor, in the middle, and then the chat on the right. Okay. You can create by just adding a table. Of course, if you give it a name and blah, 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 whatever, you add a table, and then you can do whatever you want with it. And then you can just, connect this to whatever you want. That is not how you do it. This side is how you do it. And then you have this lovely little big window, and then you add a field name, and then you connect it however you want. Bloom done. I'm gonna not mock this up. I'm gonna delete this. Okay. Now, zoom in and out. Nice, smooth JavaScript. Buttons. Move it. If you mock it up a little bit, you can just say, I want to get it cleaned up, and then you say how I want to get it cleaned up, because not everybody wants to clean it up in the same exact way. On that note, not everybody wants to name their, let's put it this way, people use different naming conventions. And you can put it in here if you want. I highly recommend that everybody visits their account page often, not just when you start, but like go back and play with your settings and see how things work for you, because we have AI preferences. And it's important to see what works well for you for token usage and for responses. Because it's not enough to complain that like, oh, it's using a lot of tokens. Well, what's a lot of and how are you using it? Because I don't know how to help you if I don't know what you're doing. And, it can become a conversation, but play with it and see how things change once you have played with your settings. Put in your FileMaker version as well that you're using because it will help. Put in what level you think you're at. I don't need to know that. I will never see that, but it will help you in the chat responses. I know it works because people have told me that, like, oh my God, once I put in that I'm a beginner, it dumbed down things so beautifully for me that now I understand what I need to do. You can give it custom chat instructions as well, and then save your, preferences. And if you move on from beginner to intermediate, just come back and change it. Okay. You can change your password. You can give it two-factor authentication. These things I don't need to explain, right? Um, Again, another place for the plugin. Here's your license key, but once you put that script in, it automates it for you, so you don't really have to even worry about it. This is for, GDPR, if you want to export your data and then also delete my account for GDPR. I would not touch this very often. As of today, we have keyboard commands. I love keyboard commands, and so I asked my AI, like, can we please do this? And it said, yeah. And like, 2 hours later, we argued a lot, and then, finally we have something that's working, so I can actually add my own however I want. And obviously, we have to figure out what works for every one of us. If you're on Windows, it will show control. You do your own. I do, Mac on this computer. But finally, if you want to switch to code quickly, you can just do that. Command K is search. I said Command K is search, and it's working. Okay. Oopsie, escape brings up this damn thing that I don't want to see ever. I don't even not seeing it, but hide floating meeting controls is on my nerves. Okay. Where was I? So when you create a new deploy here, of course, this explains all of that to you. You're gonna go and name it. You're going to select a server that you already have set up, and then you're going to select a file from that server that's been set up. Okay. So you don't have to do it again. Once you have set these things up, you can just pick them everywhere. I think that's as easy as it gets. And then whatever, um, settings you have, again, I like drop downs and pop-ups. So if I don't have to like redo things, I'm not going to. And the next thing, so this is a single deploy, right? One server, one file. Okay. And then next, obviously, is basically migrations. I call that server deploy because you deploy from one server to another, and then you can figure out what kind of deployment you want to do. So I did a dev to test, a production to dev, and a dev to test here again. These are done. This is just kind of hanging in here. So let's do a new one. You create a plan first, and then you say what kind of plan type you want. And if you look at the bottom, I don't know if it's big enough, schema, if you choose dev to test, schema goes to test, test data is kept. Plain English, right? Test to production, schema goes to production, production data is kept. Production to dev, production files replace dev files completely. This was a lifesaver for me not long ago because I kind of screwed something up, which, we all do. And I just needed to replace the whole thing so I can muck around in it again. And then you choose your, server, and then you choose your other server, and then this part is done. And again, notifications, because I want to know what's happening all the time because I'm a control freak. No, I'm not really, but why not? And again, I didn't really build this for myself, but if I think it's a good idea, turns out other people think it's a good idea as well. So you set these up. If you want another one, go set up another one and then say, I want a Discord. Let it in this Discord. I want that Discord, whatever. Eventually you probably won't have two of these, but that's how it was set up originally. So I will fix this. But when it's running, if you are a control freak and want to monitor it, then you can see and monitor it, and then you can see what's happening. And you can see these beautiful green lines that are going to tell you that, like, hey, we're starting the migration. That's your source. That's your target. Detecting your directories. That's your source data directory, blah, blah. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but, full copy complete for Spider. Boom, done. Beautiful. There was a lot of testing that went into this. So I read a lot of green, red lines before I, read all the full green lines because I wanted to make sure that this was this is kind of important and had to be fully functional. So this is out and it's working. And then this one, you can obviously add multiple files to, because this has to work for a whole set of, files for you guys. All righty. Thoughts? Cool, not cool? Anything? Feel free to chime in.
I think those pasting those XML functions that you demoed, kind of copying and importing and exporting XML could be really handy. We've been running into that issue that you mentioned with Tahoe. Reported it to Claris. They don't seem very
No, they
interested.
can't. It's
No,
not.
it's a Tahoe issue,
difficult.
yeah.
It's a Tahoe issue, but I fixed it. I
Yep.
promise you, I fixed it. Yep.
Perfect.
I will. If you download the plugin, if you sign up, it's gonna work for you. I'm having a glitch probably on my computer unless I screwed up the plugin yesterday, which is also possible, but I will fix it. Because I know that other people confirmed that it's working as well, so it's gotta work. But the deploy is even better because then you don't have to copy and paste anymore.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So if you create that live connection in the snapshot, the live connect, you can make this changes right here pretty fast. And what's even better is projects. So you in code create your script. Oops, I zoomed in too much. And then you say, I want this one and this one and this one. So I added something called projects. And in here, you can collect your artifacts, your items that you want to put together. And then you just push those out together at the same time into the deployment that you set up somewhere else. So in this case, this was mine, and it says deployable because it's doing a check as well. But and this is still kind of, I'm trying to figure out like what are the things that I can kind of do together. The only thing that I have not figured out yet, and I might not be able to do, and that's a Claris limitation, is that I think we're unable to do connections. So we can do this. We can take, actually, I have a better one. Actually, I'll show you something else about this. So you can make this pretty big and take this whole thing. You can add it to a project, and you can export this XML, and you can dump it into FileMaker beautifully. The only thing it's not going to do is going to create the tables, it's going to create table occurrences, it's going to create the fields, and the field types and everything else. The only thing it can't create is the connections. But you could create a document from here, because I added that, export as a PDF, put it next to your screen, and then connect them for the time being. That was the best thing I could do. It is not my limitation, unfortunately. It's a FileMaker limitation. But the deployment helps with that kind of stuff, because that's a clone, replace whatever thing that is happening on the server. So that's a much better route than the copying and the pasting of the XML. That's why I wrecked my brain on like how to make this even better.
Mhm.
Okay. And that's another reason why we have different levels, because I'm honestly putting in like 15-hour days to make this better on a daily basis. I've been doing that for 3 months. I'm probably going to be doing it for another 3 months or more. I want this thing to be as perfect as it gets. That's why I'm talking to a lot of people on a daily basis, and I'm listening, and I'm spending time with people, and I'm watching how they use it as well. I really want to make this damn perfect. I was thinking about something else that I wanted to show you on that note. XML. Oh yeah. So another cool thing here is that, as I said, let's check pretty much everything. So let's make a new diagram. Call it, somebody give me an idea for a database, just so you know that I'm not making this shit up. Oops, excuse me.
Not the worst thing we've heard in this meeting.
Excellent. I'm from Hungary. That's my, apology. That's my, yeah. Come on, somebody give me a database idea. Oh, and I haven't even showed you something else that's really cool.
How about a contact manager?
Contact manager. Okay. That's it. Build me a contact manager. Let's go grab a shot of whiskey. Just not an alcoholic. I'm just drinking water. Ran out of soda. I have to go shopping. I'm gonna probably kill this, although some people like it. It's kind of nice to watch what's happening. Control freak versus I don't need to see everything. Maybe I'm gonna add a button to turn off the JSON so we can both have our ways. But how cool is this? I'm still not hearing the clapping. Man,
That's cool.
I'm never gonna present to you guys again. And you can grab this, print this, whatever. Now, you can also share this. And on that note, I have at least two more things that I want to show you. And then I don't know how we're on time. Please shut me down
Is
whenever.
there any way to actually get this into the FileMaker database? from
Yeah, there are
here?
two ways. So one of them is then you can export the XML. And let me see if it works this time, because who knows, maybe the gods are just messing with me. Which FileMaker do I have open? The 22. It worked. This time it worked. Whatever. I don't know. Maybe it was a problem last time. So it pastes it in here, and it adds the relationships too. But what it doesn't do is it doesn't add the connectors.
Mm.
So that's why I said that I'm going to cancel this, okay? Because I don't need this in here right now. But it works. So this is one way. And then you can do this. You create that PDF, add it to your desktop, whatever. And then you can open up that PDF, and then you can connect them based on this. It's tedious, but it's better than nothing.
Yep.
Okay? Now, this is the one way of doing it. The other way is to grab this, add it to project, and then deploy it. So through server, then it's a file on the server. It's a
So
clone.
this would create a brand new file.
It will do the proper deployment with the tools that Kairos gave us. FM update tool and whatever the other one is called. I never remember these names. That's why I'm trying to keep everything simple. Chat, code, design, diagram. See what I'm saying? I know this is strange to a lot of people, but everything that I can do is a single word. Everything that I can do is a single word. Whatever it can't be, it's two words. But what's the other one? Somebody help me.
The data migration tool?
Yeah, data migration tool. So basically, I'm using every available tool from SSH to the OData to the admin API to be able to do all this. Creates a clone, brings in the architecture and brings in the data and replaces the file. But your other file is still saved, so you're not losing anything. Cool? Questions? Issues? Problems?
Don't think so.
You guys? No? Nothing?
No, we're here.
Okay. Play with it. Let me know how you want to make it better.
Now, how do we do that? Is there a ticket portal or something like that within here that if we find something we can reach out to
So,
you?
first of all, there's a community. There's a request feature and there's issues. I don't even care if you mix them up, but if you want to be good about it, then obviously tickets go to issues. Request a feature goes to request a feature. You want to chit chat about stuff, you go to community. We have quite a few people here now. Why is this so slow? Oh, the video call and then this and that and whatnot running at the server. So it is running on discourse, so it's as nice and modern as it gets. I tried to set up some areas. I'm adding the announcements as I have them, but I also have a newsletter, I have a blog. I try to keep everything updated as much as I can. I have a YouTube channel. I have almost 200 people on that too. I mean, it's, not 2 million, but I'm also not a social influencer. So I don't care that much about that. Also, you can see on GitHub, I believe, what's been tended to. So I have an internal admin portal, right? So I can see a lot of things from what's being used to where people come from and a lot of other things because I am a data person, so I like to see, what's going on. I have responded to this one. I responded to this one. I responded to this one. This is the feature requests. As you can see, most of them have been done. Actually, all of them are done. Sorry, move. Thank you. This one is probably not going to be done because it's not a me thing. It's a Christian thing. If you like it, or if you don't, feel free to leave a review. So far, I got 5, and those are pretty positive, so I can't really complain. Newsletters. I put, new features up here as I create them and, roll them out from here. I learned this from while I working at Claris that you can just actually put things behind flags and roll them out when you're ready. Surveys. So I have these analytics as well. I see, where my people come from, who's using what. And it's kind of interesting that like, I assume that people are going to use this and then nobody's using that. Or like I thought nobody's going to use this and then people are using that. It's quite interesting how human brains work. Chat has been the most used thing until the clips took over. It's interesting. So now people are using code more. See that? We have 4 people connecting auto FMS. That's pretty cool. We have 17 people, who connected FileMaker server. So we're getting there. Snapshots, 18. I will probably take things out that people don't need and don't want so I can concentrate on the features that people need and use. But I think probably gonna take a year by the time I can really figure out, what's what. Kind of, important visitors by country. I look at Google and I look at I talk to AI and both of them were telling me something different. And then you look at this and you're like, oh, look at that. US, Spain, Canada, Switzerland, Japan. It's really good to know actual data versus what you think, in my humble opinion. I have, just in case, I'm not saying that all of you need this, but you have friends and family who want to learn. 440 something lessons in quite a few categories now, even the new AI stuff. I cannot judge it too much because I haven't really used it. But from what I heard from people who have used videos, other people, even Claris's training, they said this is much better. And particularly because it's not too, what's the word in English? I don't know if demagogue is the right word, but it's, a lot of the training starts with like create a table, put some fields in it, set the fields up this way, whatever. And then you go to another training and it starts with create a table, put some fields in it, and you try a third training and it's the same thing, repetitive, and the people just get killed over that. This is very different. And you can, swap from different levels. If you get bored with one level to another, you can swap from, different, you can go and try different topics. So you don't have to like go in an order either. You can just kind of be playful. And every one of them is in a step-by-step setup. So here's your, and it's short, easy. You don't have to like spend a lot of time on one task. Do one learning bit, and here's your quiz, and then you're done. And then even book some consulting if you want. Again, probably not for you guys, but whoever needs it. There's also trivia. You get bored with work, go play around. You can even make some tokens with it. And there's a leaderboard. I purposefully made a field in the account that comes up with some fun Japanese nickname for everybody. Just in case you don't want to expose your name. Some people do want to expose their name. It's up to you guys. Really, I personally don't care what it is. But, if you're always at the bottom like me, maybe you don't want to expose your name. I only played one round. Come on, it's not fair. But it doesn't matter. It's supposed to be fun, right? It's trivia. It's not I want to show everybody how bad I am at the trait that I'm making my living out of. Okay, code. One more really cool thing in here. New snippet, SQL. I'm betting my life on it that none of us are perfect at creating SQL calculations, especially when it gets complex. And there are times, I would say most of the time, it's just super nice to grab just one ID from a table of a million. But there are times when you need a complex one, or it would be easier to do that. So I created this. And it is a similar thing to the thing that I showed you with the HTML and the JavaScript. And let me find which button it is. It's this one, SQL FitUp. So you can build a table and say you want, let's say, customers and orders, okay? And invoices. Build that table. Because you can't really build a SQL, calc or query unless you have a table. And we don't have a place to build anything in FileMaker. You can go somewhere else, but you want to be working with FileMaker most of the time. So wouldn't be nice if we had that in here. So now we do. So here's your little table. And what's cool about it, it also inserted data.
Oh, nice.
Right? So now you can go and write your SQL. So you can say, I want to, what do I want to do? Oh, you know what? I don't want to write anything. I want to be lazy. Because I can. Right? But, it's also here. But if I don't want to cheat that much, I can just say, here's my thing. And you can also just go and, maybe find me the last 10 or last two, because you can retype this. And by the way, there's also, type ahead in here too, just so you know. So you can actually type it yourself. You can ask AI to help you out, and then you can go and run this. And then here's your last two, right? So now you tested your own calculation, and then you can say copy as execute SQL, and then you go back to FileMaker, and then you have a script and say, I'm gonna say is a set variable, and I'm gonna put it here. Boom, done. Okay, how cool is this one? What else do you guys need? What else am I missing? I'm sure I'm missing a lot of stuff. You guys are oh so quiet. I don't know if you like everything or you hate everything or...
Like a lot of folks have dropped off.
Oh, I killed everybody? Okay. Yeah, well, there's a lot here.
I'm excited to start playing with this for sure. Looks
I'm glad you
very
are.
cool.
You know, a lot of times it's one person at a time. I do this often where I just spend time with one person and then they tell that to other people and other people and other people. It's, you know, it's not like other people's products where it's just one thing. It's an ecosystem and it's growing. I haven't even showed you some of the new things. This one is out. You can play with this too. I asked Clarice for this too. All kinds of things that we don't have with servers that other people do. And I'm building more stuff. So, but feel free to let me know what else you guys need. Feel free to cut this as much as you like. And thank you very much for the invite. Again, I apologize for being late and I apologize for talking this much.
All good. No, this was great.
Oh, you're
I
here
think
too. Okay, good.
there's a lot for us to chew on here.
Yeah.
Lots of good info.
Yeah.
Okay, more people. All right, so I didn't kill everybody. That's good. How many?
All right.
5. That's good.
We had I think 13 before. Some people, our
What?
sessions normally go about an hour-ish, so people probably prepare their day accordingly.